Okay, I'm going to start the Arabian Corner webinar. So thank you everybody for joining us on this hot and sunny day. Gareth, you're on the stage at the moment. Do you want to tell us who you are, where you're from and what your prize is today?
Sure. So my name is Gareth. I'm from We Define Travel and we represent a number of hotels across the Middle East and Indian Ocean in the UK. Today I'm going to be covering Habtoor Grand Resort and the prize, 6 bottles of Prosecco, which I'm sure everybody would welcome right now.
Super. Just to say, your sound keeps going off. Okay. So it's fading in and out. Maybe it's the headphones or something, or maybe it's when you seem to move. Try it again.
Is that any better at all?
A little. Let's see if it gets bad. I'll tell you. Okay, perfect. So thank you, Gareth. Thanks for joining us today. We're excited to hear about your hotel. Aspen, you've just shocked me with one of the images when we've just done the test. So tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what your prize is.
Great, thanks so much. So my name is Aspen. I'm the market manager for Saudi Tourism Authority, which is actually a brand new tourist board. They just opened the first ever tourism office in the UK and Ireland in December 2020. So I've been working with them since then. So yeah, it's a brand new destination and I'm incredibly excited to work alongside and support the travel trade in really introducing the kingdom to the UK and Ireland and welcoming the world to Arabia. So yeah, I hope you're excited. I think I'm going to shock a lot of people with some of the images and information about Saudi. And on offer today, we have a bespoke box of Saudi goodies, and I'm going to keep it a bit of a mystery for whoever is the winner there.
Super. No, I'm very, very excited. So Gareth, you're going first today. So would you like to share your screen and take us to Dubai?
Fantastic, thank you. So can everyone see that okay?
All good.
Perfect. So firstly, I just wanted to say a massive thank you for everyone who's joined today. I know it's testing time for everybody in our beloved industry right now. So thank you, really appreciate you taking the time out to come and learn about Habtoor Grand Resort. So as you can see,
Gareth, sorry, your sound is really bad. Can you take your earphones out and just do it to the computer? Is that going to work better? You're drifting so badly, we can barely hear you when you're at certain points.
Okay, sorry. They were fine last time, so I don't know what's happened. Bear with me.
It should work better. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, much better.
Let me turn that there with. Sorry about that. They did work perfectly fine last time, so I'm not sure what happened. So yeah, I was just saying thank you very much to everybody for joining. Appreciate it's a tough time for everybody right now, so I really appreciate you taking the time out to learn about Habtoor Grand Resort. So as you can see on screen, it's part of the Autograph collection, so a Marriott luxury lifestyle hotel, and we deliver an affordable luxury experience. So the hotel is an entry-level 5-star. We're a very prominent brand. So Habtoor is one of the biggest construction companies in the Emirates. And I'm going to start off with location because location is absolutely key for our hotel and one of our main selling points. So we're down in the heart of the prestigious Dubai Marina and we're at the start of the walk. So on this map here, if you can see my cursor, we're just down here. There's some, our screens are blocking it out. We're just here in the bottom right hand side of the map. So we're at the start of the walk. And for those of you that know Dubai, are quite familiar with Dubai, that area gets really busy with traffic on the weekends, especially. So being right in the heart of the walk or at the start of the walk, our guests can dip in and out as much or as little as they want to. They don't have to worry about jumping in a taxi. They're right there in the heart of the action. So fantastic location. Further afield, we're just 20 minutes from the Emirates Mall and then 30 minutes from Dubai Parks by road. So really fantastic location. And we do offer a courtesy bus service to many of the shopping malls. So moving on to look at the accommodation, the hotel offers 446 guest rooms and suites. And the accommodation is split between the resort rooms and then the tower rooms. So the tower rooms, 2 towers are here, 1, 2, And then the resort rooms, some of them are here at the bottom of the picture on the screen. So they are in the landscape gardens with garden views leading down towards the beach. So that's just a close-up shot of the resort rooms, just to give you a better idea. So our lead-in is a resort room without a balcony. As you would expect, all of the rooms have got aircon, tea and coffee making facilities, complimentary bottled water, and then a safe, of course. So the rooms are sized at 40 square meters and they sleep up to 3 people. As the name would suggest, they've got the resort view, so they're looking out towards the gardens, and they are nearer to a lot of the food and beverage outlets. So it depends what your guest preference really is. If they want to be close to the bars and restaurants in the gardens, then the resort rooms are the perfect choice. And then the resort garden rooms are the same size and style, they just have a private balcony or terrace. And then moving on to the tower room, so you can see there's a slightly different style of the tower rooms. They're also 40 square meters, so the same size, again, sleeping up to 3 people. And then we have a choice of either partial sea view or oceanfront rooms. The oceanfront rooms have the amazing view of the Gulf of Arabia. So in the picture at the start, my backdrop, you're looking out over the beach area and out over the ocean. So it's important to note as well that the none of the rooms in the towers are looking back towards the buildings behind the hotel. So you're not peering into another building, another hotel. You have views out towards the ocean. So yeah, it's a much nicer feel than being right in the middle of lots of buildings like many of the hotels in Dubai. And then we're a great choice for families. So I'm going to cover off some of the family facilities, and also our location really lends itself to families. So our tower family rooms offer that perfect choice. So they're that bit larger at 50 square meters, and they've got 2 double beds and then a sofa bed. So they give the extra space that families would need. And then we have our club oceanfront rooms. So they're the same design, slightly different color scheme, but the design is the same amenities, but they have access to the club lounge, which I will cover off in a minute. And then for guests wanting a little bit more space and luxury and the additional benefits of the club lounge, then we have the club suite at 65 square meters. And as you can see, it's got a beautiful separated living area. So the club lounge, this is a great upsell tool for your clients. So it includes a number of benefits for clients booking those room types. So you get private airport transfers, that's both arrival and departure. You get priority check-in and late check-out. It's open daily from 6:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. And then we serve afternoon tea from 3 till 5 and then pre-dinner drinks. So it's full bar service from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then there's tea, coffee, soft drinks and canapes throughout the day. So a really lovely additional benefit for those guests. And moving on to look at our food and beverage offering, and this again is another massive selling point. So we offer loads of choice and flexibility in our dine around packages. So we've got 13 themed restaurants and bars, and we have something to suit all tastes. We've got a very creative food and beverage team. So if your clients have special requests, they're celebrating special occasions, etc., then please do inform the team, and they will go that extra mile to make the guests feel really special. So we have our main dining restaurant serving international cuisine, and half-board guests can either take lunch or dinner. So that's where we offer the flexibility. So it's not a rigid dinner only. You can switch it for lunch should you wish. We then also offer a fantastic dine around package. So it's priced at 150 dirhams per adult. And again, it's valid for lunch or dinner. So you can switch between the two as suits. And there's an additional 4 restaurants included. So the ones on screen here. So there's Italian, Mediterranean, Lebanese, and a South African grill house. So a real mixture. And as you can see, we have a mixture of al fresco and indoor dining. So again, our space lends itself to that really lovely resort type feel and alfresco dining. And then, as well as the dine around option, we've got a whole raft of other food and beverage outlets. So we've got 2 pool bars, we've got the main one, and then we have a adults only infinity pool on the 3rd floor. We've got a beach bar, of course, we've got the club lounge already mentioned, we have a coffee house, the polo bar, which is in the top right here, which is our cocktail and cigar lounge, so great range of cocktails served in the polo bar. And then, of course, the legendary underground pub. So wherever you go in the world, Brits like a bit of home comfort sometimes. So you can go to the underground pub in Dubai and have toad in the hole or apple crumble. Not quite sure why you would want to do that, but it obviously appeals to some people. It's very, very popular. And then with our all-inclusive package, included this slide just to show an example of some international brands that we include. So you've got the likes of Havana Club, Bombay Sapphire, a really good range of cocktails, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. And we have regular tactical offers in the marketplace. Obviously, Dubai is a very tactical market, so you'll probably be familiar with some of our past tacticals. So we quite frequently do free half board, room upgrades or drinks packages, etc. And then touching on leisure facilities before we finish. So here's a great shot showing the gardens and pool area leading down to the beach. So you can see we've got that huge outdoor space. So that allows for 4 floodlit tennis courts. You can see a couple of them there in the bottom right. We also have 2 squash courts. And of course, that super large beach with lounges, cabanas, and of course, a range of water sports and scuba diving as well. And again, if you're familiar with Dubai and you're familiar with our location, we are right next door to Zero Gravity Beach Club and Skydive Dubai. So on the right-hand side here is the runway for Skydive Dubai. So yeah, it's great sitting by the pool and you can watch skydivers coming down. Also, if you want to go over to Zero Gravity to the beach club. As I mentioned, we've got the large lagoon style pool with jacuzzi, and then we have a separate adults only infinity pool up on the 3rd floor. And then for the children, we've got their own splash pool here, you can see with some slides. We also have a kids club running for kids aged 4 to 12 and a number of other facilities for families. So with the combination of location, the great facilities, the flexible dining and the location, we are a great choice in Dubai for families. And then last but by no means least is the opulence bar. So you can see it's a really traditional Arabian styled, beautiful warm colours, and the treatments here mix the touch of Arabia with East-West holistic treatment. So after a day hitting them all in the heat, what better way to unwind than in our spa? So in summary, your 3 key takeaways are location. So ideally placed in JBR with the marina, malls, restaurants, etc., right on your doorstep. We're beachfront and we've got those lovely, luscious tropical gardens and lots of space, and then value for money. So we're entry-level 5-star and we offer great flexibility and package inclusion. So they are my 3 key takeaways for you today. And that is it from me.
Thank you, Gareth. I like the camels and the photograph. I've got a photograph similar to that, so I think I know exactly where you are on the beach.
Brilliant. Yeah, like I say, a fantastic location next to Zero Gravity as well. So you, like I say, you can watch people coming down who've been skydiving.
Super. Okay, there are a few questions. We'll answer them right at the end. There's a few in chat, Gareth. So if you look at the chat, just to see if you've got anything in there that we've missed in the Q&A session, just to reply back to. Super. Thank you. Many thanks.
No problem.
Aspen, are you going to wow us now? Because I was impressed with those photographs you just shown me, and we only saw one slide. So over to you.
Great. Well, thanks so much. I know now I've sort of promised big, so I hope I can live up to it. Let me just share my screen here. And I think this is what you were referring to, just again, seeing any greenery in Saudi Arabia. It's just not something that anybody would necessarily expect if they, they haven't heard too much about it. So first of all, I do just want to, again, thank you for attending. Thanks to Sarah and My Book Rewards for hosting. It's really great to see so many people interested in Saudi. I saw somebody in the Q&A asking, what did I mean when I say it's a completely new destination? And what I mean is that it only opened up to tourism in 2019, in September, just before the COVID pandemic. So really not very many people have been able to go there thus far. So before 2019, the only people that could go to Saudi Arabia were citizens or family members, or those going for Islamic pilgrimage, so for spiritual travel. But now it's opened up to everyone. So it's a really, really exciting time. I'm super excited to be able to share this amazing, really untapped destination with all of you. So before we actually dive into the country itself, I just want to cover why we're talking in the first place, because this wouldn't really have been possible a few years ago. So Saudi began issuing tourist visas for the first time in 2019 as part of something called Vision 2030, where Saudi decided to open up to the world culturally and economically. And this is all with the aim of diversifying the country away from a dependence on oil and to create a vibrant society. So it's an incredibly young nation in Saudi Arabia. 2/3 of the population are under the age of 35. And so the country sees tourism as being a really integral part of this journey of opening up to empower the locals and the youth with job creation. There's quite high unemployment at the moment, and to really foster this cross-cultural communication and collaboration that wasn't really a part of their lives a little while ago. So the changes that have been taking place have not just been economic, they've been societal as well. So a few things off the bat that people often have ideas about or we get questions about. So women can drive in Saudi Arabia. In fact, you may even have a female Uber driver while you go there, or a dive master or a tour guide for that matter. They are not restricted in travel or dress. And then on the other side of that, as I said, they're trying to diversify away from oil. And so the whole country's focus has completely shifted to one of sustainability. So they want to be thought leaders in this space, and they've really woven it into every new project that's in the works. And there are a lot of projects in the works. So I'm going to go through some of them today. But yeah, they have very, very lofty goals. They want to attract 100 million annual visitors by 2030. And they see the UK and Ireland as being a big part of that. So getting into the country itself and in terms of access, it really is the perfect location for a mid-haul trip, just sandwiched between Africa, the rest of the Middle East, and Europe. It's a 7-hour flight from the UK. Saudia is the national carrier, and they have direct flights from London Heathrow and Manchester during normal times. Those have been paused during the pandemic and while borders have been closed. But these direct flights go to Riyadh and Jeddah, the two main cities in Saudi Arabia, which I'll talk about. And then as well, you have British Airways, which also operates a direct flight from London Heathrow to Riyadh. Before the pandemic, they were also flying into Jeddah and Dammam, but they've paused that because of the pandemic. But we do hope that we'll be able to bring those back again soon. And then, of course, there's lots of other options for indirect carriers that are in the region. So the likes of Emirates, Etihad, Qatar Airways, Turkish Airlines, they all fly into Saudi. So certainly options. And then once you get into the country itself, there are 27 domestic airports, which service all different parts of the country. And not only does the national carrier Saudia fly to all of these, but there are a few low-cost carriers as well, FlyNAS and FlyAdeal, and they do fly to all the different areas. In terms of onward destinations, since it's a brand new destination for so many people, and perhaps people, they've been waiting to go and travel for so long for the past year and a half, maybe they don't want to sort of gamble on this new destination. We see multi-centers or perhaps stopovers being a good way to sort of get people to dip their toe in. So there are lots of onward destinations that Saudia, for example, flies to, like the Maldives, the Seychelles, Mauritius, Indonesia, Malaysia, South Africa. So if people do want to come over and do a stopover for a couple days in Jeddah or Riyadh, and then go on to the Seychelles, that's certainly an option as well. So that e-visa that I mentioned that launched in 2019, it's completely digital and it's a really fast application that's done online. Previously, to get into Saudi Arabia, it was quite a process. You needed to go through an embassy, but now that's completely changed. It's valid for 49 countries, including the UK and Ireland, and it's a multiple entry visa that's valid for 90 days. And it costs about £85. And that also includes mandatory health insurance while you're in the country. They've recently updated that to include COVID insurance, but we are still waiting on just the more nitty-gritty details about what exactly that will cover, whether that's extended hotels while you have to stay in the country for a loved one, anything like that. So very happy to send all of that information out when we do get it. English is widely spoken in Saudi Arabia. It's the second language that's taught in schools, and most road signs will be bilingual, so you shouldn't have a problem getting around. One of the big things that I think a lot of Brits and doing some of these webinars and things, some of the questions that we've been getting is around the question of alcohol. So consistent with the local culture and customs in Saudi Arabia, alcohol is prohibited throughout the country. So you can't bring it in, you can't purchase it anywhere, you can't get it in, you know, your hotel minibar or anything like that. That's sort of the case with other sort of gray area countries. But there is truly so much to experience there without alcohol, as I hope you'll see in the next few slides that we go through. So if it is really important for your customer, I know lots, you know, Brits, when they go abroad, a lot of them like to have a cocktail on the beach, whatever it is. So if that is important to them, do feel free to pair Saudi Arabia with another destination like the UAE, like Dubai, or perhaps consider a cruise where passengers can drink on the boat when they're out of port. And there are lots of exciting developments going on in the cruise space right now. So MSC is coming this summer, actually, with a few different routes going along the Arabian Gulf, but then also home porting in Jeddah and going to a few different stops in Saudi Arabia, as well as over to Egypt and Jordan. And then there are a few more niche luxury smaller ship brands that are coming as well, like Scenic. But now that we've got one more thing I should probably mention is just the question that we get sometimes about women. So like I mentioned earlier, women are not restricted in travel or dress, and that goes for Saudi women and visitors to the region as well. So you're not obligated to wear an abaya or a headscarf or anything like that. Although men and women are both encouraged to dress modestly and just respect the local culture. So wear something to you know, the elbow and the knee. And then the other thing that often comes up is people just want to know, is Saudi Arabia safe, since it's a bit of an unknown destination? So yes, there's an incredibly low crime rate, and it consistently comes out as some of the safest cities in the world in terms of crime rate. So really nothing to be worried about there. So now we're ready to explore some of the iconic locations and experiences that Saudi has to offer. They're all really centered on Saudi's unmatched culture and heritage, adventure opportunities, nature, and its really famous Arabian hospitality. So all of the people that have been lucky enough to go there so far that I've talked to have all really had just amazing things to say about the Saudi people, how welcoming they are. As I said, they're just really excited to finally open up their country to the rest of the world and really share. They're really, really proud of it. So here we go. It's just a little map to get you situated. It is actually the 12th largest country in the world, which not a lot of people realize. So it being this large, Saudi Arabia really offers a stunningly diverse landscape. So you have beautiful oases, you have dramatic mountaintops, pristine beaches, and rivers. So I'm going to take you on a little bit of a tour. I'm going to start off just in the center of the country in Riyadh, and then we're going to sort of work our way around the outside. So in the center of the country, the capital of Saudi Arabia, where a lot of travelers will enter, Riyadh is a really amazing blend of ancient and modern. It's home to both the historical roots of the kingdom and this modern day metropolis that you can see in this image here. There's been a lot of investment into arts and culture and sports facilities, green spaces, and there's really everything that you could expect from a big city, from museums to shopping, spas, and fine dining as well. And yet only 20 minutes outside of the city, you really have the opportunity to step into the past. So just on the outskirts of Riyadh, you have Diriyah, the birthplace of the first Saudi state and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Diriyah is a beautiful example of the traditional architecture of the region. It's made completely out of mud bricks, and there will be a network of museums around the palace to tell the story of Saudi and the region's history. Eventually, it will also host sports and cultural events. There'll be hotels and restaurants and residential areas around here as well, and it will really become a destination in its own right. But right now, like I said, it's only about 20 minutes from the city, so it's very, very accessible for a day trip. You can stay in Riyadh and then just come out here for the day. On the other side of this, but still just on the outskirts of Riyadh, you have an escarpment known as the Edge of the World, for obvious reasons, I think. It offers absolutely spectacular views from thousands of meters above the valley floor, which was once an ancient caravan route used to cross the Arabian Peninsula. And it's a favorite local spot to watch the sunset with some coffee or tea. You can take guided trips. They include hiking, camel treks, 4x4 tours, even overnight camping. And if you do take a guided trip up here, make sure you can get your guide to show you the ancient rock carvings that are in this area. They stretch far outside of here, but you can actually get them this close to Riyadh as well. And then to the east of Riyadh, you'll hit the biggest sand desert in the world, known as the Rub al Khali, which we share with the UAE and Oman as well. It's also known as the Empty Quarter, and it's actually almost as large as the entire country of Turkey. So absolutely massive, and it has dunes that get up to 250 meters in height, making it a really epic location for desert activities like dune bashing, sandboarding, stargazing, or you can go for longer treks with Bedouin guides. And though just amongst this desert, you have a completely different landscape as well. You have Al Asa, the world's largest natural oasis with more than 100 desert springs. It's also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And this is only a couple of hours from Dammam on the Arabian Gulf Coast, which is also known for its arts and beaches, and it's as well connected to Bahrain by a 25-kilometer long bridge. So another opportunity for a multi-center if people did want to split with another country, where again, they could even go there for dinner and have a glass of wine. To the northwest of the country, towards the border with Jordan, you have rocky mountains and wadis in Tabuk. There's amazing adventure opportunities here. And in the mountains, believe it or not, you actually have snow that comes in the winter months. So it's quite amazing and unique sight to see camels trudging through the snow here. As we move down through the country, we get to an area called Alula. It's one of Saudi's most iconic destinations. It's an hour-and-a-half flight from Riyadh or Jeddah, and it's really known as this living museum that tells the story of 200,000 years of human history. You have incredible landscapes for hiking, cycling, ziplining, and then when you get to the centerpiece known as Hegra, this is Saudi's first UNESCO World Heritage Site and the second city of the Nabatean civilization that built Petra in Jordan. So you might notice some similarities there, or it might look a bit familiar to you. And Hegra features more than 100 monumental tombs carved into these rock formations, and really offers the opportunity to explore an undiscovered wonder of the world without all of the crowds. So accommodation in Alula is really focused on boutique hotels and camps. You're not going to just see a massive high-rise popping up here, anything like that. They're all sustainable, and they're really meant to celebrate the natural environment. It's also going to become a culture and arts destination with festivals and concerts. You have this incredible building called the Mariah Concert Hall that's completely mirrored all around the outside. It just reflects the desert landscape. So certainly sort of one of the crowns in the jewel for Saudi Arabia. As we then follow the western coast down, we get to an area called Luj, which is renowned for its stunning beaches, as you can see there, turquoise ocean. It's sometimes called the Saudi Maldives. And here, as you can imagine, you can spend your day snorkeling, swimming, boating around the natural islands, or just relaxing on the beach. There's over 100 kilometers either side of this beautiful white sand. And then throughout the Red Sea in Saudi Arabia, the coastline is home to some incredible marine life. And it's really been untouched. There hasn't been tourism there. There haven't been divers yet. And so you have this really, really rich marine ecosystem with dolphins, dugongs, turtles, and some of the most abundant and thriving coral in the world. They're actually looking at this Saudi coral. It seems to be impervious to bleaching. It can withstand higher temperatures that a lot of the other corals around the world, like the Great Barrier Reef, are struggling with. So they're actually starting these floating coral nurseries, and they're breeding more heat-resistant corals that they can then transplant around the world and help the rest of the global coral populations. So this is really a must-see for any diving or wildlife enthusiasts. Everyone's sort of heard of Sharm el-Sheikh, but this is really the last frontier for divers. Also on the west coast, you have Jeddah, which is Saudi's second largest city and vibrant cosmopolitan hub. It's long been the entry point for traders and religious pilgrims for really hundreds of years, itself being rumored to be the city where Eve was laid to rest. So you have a very interesting mix of outside influences. It holds big ticket events like the Red Sea International Film Festival. And there is a really vibrant art scene there as well. You have art galleries peppered throughout. You have the Corniche has over 400 international sculptures along it. And that image there is of the King Fahad Fountain, which is 312 meters tall. It's the world's largest. And the jet is illuminated by 500 spotlights at night. So it makes for a really lovely stroll along the Corniche in the evening. In the city of Jeddah itself, you have the historic downtown area known as Al Balad, or the Old Town. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site built in the 7th century. It's full of these ancient coral stone houses. You have souks, quirky cafes to wander through. And then outside of Jeddah, if you'd like to take a day trip, a popular one is to go to an area called Taif. It's home to Saudi's world famous rose industry. It's a really amazing place to visit in the spring, especially when all of the roses are in bloom and you get what are usually these rolling green hills absolutely carpeted with these pink roses. As we then move to the south, we get to an area called Al Baha with some of the the region's tallest mountains. So lots of opportunities for hiking, especially in the summer months. So Saudi Arabia has a similar climate in the center in Riyadh to a lot of the Middle East. It's hot in the summer, about 45 degrees it can be at times, but in the south and also in some other regions like Tabuk, where there are mountains, it's much, much more temperate. So it can actually be quite a year-round destination. It's only about 25 degrees in the winter in Al Baha. So this is where a lot of Saudis actually go for their summer holidays. And then as we venture down just to the southern end of the Red Sea coastline, we get to the highlands of Asir, and we get yet another landscape with these really lush green valleys, fruit trees, and even baboons that run amongst the hills. So I'll end by just saying that Saudi is becoming home to a number of international sporting events. You may have heard of a lot of them. We have the Dakar Rally, which is the largest in the world that takes place in Saudi Arabia. You have the Formula One, which is coming to Jeddah in December. It's going to be a street race along the Corniche. You have the European Golf Tour that's held at King Abdullah Economic City, which is just north of Jeddah. And they have eyes on lots more. So you might have seen about the boxing coming. They're putting in bids for even the World Cup. And that's really about creating this vibrant society that I talked about in the beginning. So before, Saudis weren't able to have these events at home. And so now Saudi Arabia really wants to be able to host them and bring them to the people. And of course, they're happy for international guests to be able to visit soon as well. And Saudi is really just getting started. In the next few years, we're going to see the opening of some of the world's most exciting tourism developments. So you have the city of Neom, which is being built from the ground up. It's being called the city of the future. It's going to be completely sustainable with 0 cars and 0 emissions. You have a region called Qiddiya, which is the sports and entertainment epicenter. That's where the F1 will eventually move. You have things like Six Flags and other attractions moving there as well. You have on the West Coast again, you have the Red Sea Project and Amala, which are both luxury beach resorts, but they're also going to be arts and culture destinations, and they're really reimagining the way that we use technology and sustainability. And then lastly, you have Al Souda, which is the outdoor adventure capital of Saudi Arabia. It's going to be opening up in the south. So thanks again for having me. I know there's so much to take in there. Obviously, we're going to have the Q&A, but if anything comes up later, I'll certainly share my email. And yeah, we'd always love to hear from agents and hear how you're getting on with things, what customers are saying. Yeah, and if you have any questions or anything that we can help you out with.
Thank you, Aspen. Wow, that's even more amazed me than what I even thought it would. What an incredible country. So like, I've just got a little question. To get from A to B, I'm presuming internal flights are the way forward, with it being the 12th biggest country in the world. I hope that's not the question that you're going to ask. If it is, you need to change something.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So yeah, as you said, it is a big country. There are lots of domestic airports. So if people are in a bit of a time crunch and want to get from A to B quickly, certainly I would recommend a domestic flight. There are trains, especially in the east side of the country, so going from like Riyadh to Dammam, and they are looking to expand that train network out. But for right now, and it has been for many years, it's a driving culture. So as things develop more and more, having self-drive trips or convoy trips will be possible. Or if you have a guided tour with the DMC and you can do coach trips and things like that, and sort of work your way on, say, a 10-day trip, you know, sort of take the route that I mentioned, or at least just go down the Red Sea coast, that's certainly viable.
Super. Okay, perfect. Okay, we've got a few questions that have come in. So I think Gareth's answered a couple of his. Okay, you've already covered this. Celine wrote this when you very first started about the visas. And it's a more simplified process now. And also, would same-sex couples be able to go to Saudi, or would it be somewhere that you'd say probably not?
Sure. So yeah, in terms of the visa, like I said, it's all very straightforward. I think I said you saw something about whether you can apply for 2 people. So it's an individual visa that you could apply for. And in terms of same-sex couples, everyone is welcome in Saudi Arabia. When you get to a hotel, nobody will question you about who you're staying with, whether it's a friend, it's a man and a woman, or if it's a same-sex couple, that won't be asked about or anything like that. It's not an issue. The one thing, which I don't know, there might be questions about this as well, but somewhat relevant, is just PDA in general. So like I said, it's a modest culture. So for same-sex couples and men and women couples, I would just recommend just keeping PDA to a minimum. They basically like to keep their private life private and their public life public. So that's the only thing I would suggest in terms of that.
Okay, super. Gareth, we've got a question for you.
Sure.
Does Habtoor mean something? The name of the hotel.
That was the one I was hoping you didn't ask me, because I can't remember.
Sorry.
It does, but I can't remember what it means. I will find out though.
Okay, super. How many rooms are in the hotel, and do you do apartments or just hotel rooms? Just hotel rooms, and there's 446 in total. That's across the towers and the resort rooms. Okay, super. Are you suitable for disabled passengers? And what facilities do you have? Yes, we're wheelchair friendly. It really depends on the nature of the guest's needs. So we would look at each individual case, but we are wheelchair friendly. You can get around the hotel. You can get all the way down to the beach in a wheelchair. It's paved all the way down. We have rooms that are adapted with rolling showers. So we can absolutely cater for
guests with special requirements, but we do like to look at each individual case.
Super. And would people contact you and you can send the sort of requirements to the hotel and do it that way?
Yeah, we can do it for you.
Super, thank you. Sarah got a little bit excited about the water slides. Can adults go on the water slides, or is it just for the kids?
Well, I think if you've got a child, it's fine. If you're just going down on your own, maybe not. You might get told to get off.
Okay, so kidnap a child. No, that's wrong. How long does it take to get from the airport, and do you offer transfers?
So it's 30 minutes from the airport, so not far at all. The hotel, well, actually, I don't know if we offer a transfer service from the airport ourselves, but yeah, there are plenty of options for transfers anyway. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Celine, you've asked a question about, are there nightclubs and movie theatres open to all? I'm presuming this is aimed at Aspen. Aspen, is that something that Saudi would have, or is it not so?
Yeah, so movie theaters are open. It's actually a really interesting one. Movie theaters and cinema was actually banned in the country up until 2017. This is a testament to just how much transformation there's been in the past few years. Saudi Arabia is now takes in the biggest revenue at the box office in all of the Middle East. So the people there absolutely love it. They're building more and more movie theaters. Like I said, there's the Red Sea International Film Festivals and the Film Festival, and there's this huge push to invest in Saudi filmmakers and hear all of these stories that haven't been told for a long time. So cinema is absolutely something that you can enjoy while you're there. In terms of nightclubs, I think that's something though it's going to be developing more and more. An EDM festival, which again, something you wouldn't necessarily associate with Saudi Arabia. It was called Middle Beast, and it happened in 2019. I think it was supposed to happen again in 2020, but COVID, but they're hopefully going to be putting on more of those in the future. They had Tiesto, they had Steve Aoki. It was a massive success. So again, there really is a hunger for that in the country. So yeah, festivals like that, and I think places to dance and things that will all be becoming more and more prevalent.
Super. We've got another question. So in terms of the sort of the visa and the entry requirements, again, is it limited to certain nationalities? So do we need to check where the client's passport is held from to check against the list to see how easy it is to access?
Yes, so the e-visa that I mentioned is valid for 49 countries, as I said. So you would want to double check that list to see if they would be eligible for the e-visa. If they're not on the list, it doesn't mean that they can't go. It just means that you need to apply through an embassy. Again, that process has been simplified to what it used to be, but it's just not quite as easy as the e-visa.
Okay, super. Do you have a tourism office in the US or Canada?
So the UK and Ireland office opened in December 2019. It was one of the first ones that opened. We have another one in Germany, and they're rolling out tourism offices around the world. So they're in the midst of setting up the North American one. So I don't have the exact details for you yet, but sort of watch this space.
Okay, perfect. If you let me know when you do, and I can send out a note to everybody just to let them know, because yeah, there's a big market from North America. Super. Greg has asked, is there a Saudi training program?
That again is being worked on. They really want this to be sort of really interactive. So it's been being worked on for the last 6 months. It's all under wraps. I haven't been able to see it yet, but I think there's big things coming. So again, we will be sure to let everybody know when that comes out. We might be looking at doing other smaller sort of supporting programs, just because I know people are really keen to learn more about it and get selling. In the meantime, while you wait for that, I would say the Visit Saudi website, just www.visitsaudi.com, is really, really great. They have tons of articles about the different areas. We also have an app, just the Visit Saudi app that you can look at. And then I also have a destination guide that I would be very happy to share with anybody that's interested. And it kind of goes through all of the destinations that I talked about today in a little bit more detail.
Super. How is solo travel?
I'm assuming is that one for me as
yeah.
well, potentially. So like I said, there's been very few people that have actually been able to go out there so far. So I don't have a lot of firsthand accounts for you, but I would say it's certainly possible. Like I said, it's a very, very safe country, and that goes for women and men. I think it's been incredible since December. We've been talking to lots of different tour operators and things that are all really, really excited to get a hold in Saudi. And I think guided tours are what's being sold the most right now. So for a solo traveler, I think a guided tour would be the perfect thing. They have that extra little bit of safety and security, and they have a guide that knows exactly what they're talking about and can take them from point A to point B just carefree. So yeah, I would certainly suggest that for a solo traveler.
Super. So in terms of entertainment, so belly dancing is quite strong in sort of certain countries. Is that something that would be the national dance, or that would be allowed or would be done in Saudi?
To be perfectly honest with you, it's not something that's come up, and I'm not sure about it. It's not the national dance. They do have other cultural dances that I've certainly seen, and I think that would probably be more of what you would get there. So whether it exists there, it's certainly possible, but I don't have an exact answer for you.
Super. And do any of the hotels, I suppose again it's so new, do they offer any sort of agent rates or anything like that, or would you just sort of reach out to the hotels, or would you reach out to you, or?
Yeah, so yeah, like you said, it is new, and we're really just getting a lot of our B2B partners and things on board. So, there would certainly be rates through a B2B operator, and I would probably recommend that you go through that rate. If you wanted to speak directly with the hotel, yeah, if you want to get in touch with me, and I can put you through and give you their contact details, sure. But it's a massive country. There are thousands of hotels, so there's going to be different policies for each one, so I can't give you a cut and dry answer there.
Okay, perfect. Is there a really, really popular escorted tour company that you'd recommend, or that you work closely with as a tourist board, or is it just, again, we're still figuring all that out?
There are quite a lot that are coming on board. I need to make sure that I'm not letting the cat out of the bag on any of them. So I'll say that right before we came on board, there were a few that were already in the space, so maybe I'll mention them so I don't play any favorites or anything like that. But Wild Frontiers has been doing trips, and they've been really, really popular. They've been selling out pretty much immediately. Native Eye, you have Corinthian Travel as well, that has a really great selection of different tours, most of them guided, but they also have some self-drive and convoy tours and things like that as well. Yep. So again, if you'd like an exhaustive list, email me and I can send that. But again, I don't want to put my foot in my mouth here and break somebody's news for them.
Okay, no, perfect. No, that presentation was really, really good. Very, very, very appreciated for you to come and share it all with us. It's very, very exciting, and it's a place I knew nothing about, and yeah, so no, brilliant. I'm sure everybody shares the same as me. It's very, very exciting. So good destination to sort of look into for sure. Okay, so we're going to see now who's been listening. So if you can all go to chat and just make sure you've got the panelists and attendees drop down. So as I mentioned earlier, every single person on the webinar will be entered into the prize draw for this spin to win that I will do tomorrow. However, the first person with the correct answer will get an additional 10 entries. So definitely worthwhile you answering the questions. So soon as you are on the stage at the moment, Aspen, do you want to just tell us remind us your prize, and then tell us what your question is?
Sure. So the prize, what's up for grabs today, is going to be a bespoke box of Saudi goodies. And in order to get this, you need to answer what area is referred to as the Saudi Maldives. We've got what looks like a few typos, but I've seen the right answer come up. Yeah. Can I reveal the answer?
Different answers, and I missed this one as well. Okay, so the first answer that we've got is Jeddah.
Not Jeddah, unfortunately. Jeddah is absolutely beautiful, and it does have beaches, but that's not the Saudi Maldives.
Okay, the next one we've got is Umlug.
I think, let me just scroll up here. I think this is the one. Yeah, I think that there's just been a few typos. The answer is umluj. Yeah, so UMLUJ. So I can't fault anyone really for having a typo.
Okay.
Well done. I saw quite a few of you guys got the answer right there.
So Denise, you was the first person with the correct answer. So, okay, we're good. So you'll be entered 10 times into the spin to win. So thank you, Denise, and thank you everybody for the correct answers. Don't worry about the typos. I think I would have struggled to type that as well. So thank you, Aspen, much appreciated. And Gareth, if you could just remind us what your prize is and fire away with your question.
Yes, sure. So firstly, Habtoor is a family name. So sorry, I completely forgot that. It's a family name.
Makes sense.
Family name. So my prize is 6 bottles of Prosecco, which I'm sure everybody needs. And the question is, how many additional restaurants are included in our half-board dine around? Ping, 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 ping.
Okay, so I think I do know this. I think it's 13.
That's total F&B outlets. And
So additional.
Yes, 4 additional.
Okay, so Greg. You see, I hear things, and then when it comes to the questions, right, so Greg, you was the first person. So number 4 is the correct answer. Samantha, you was very, very close behind, and lots of other correct answers. So brilliant. I will announce the winner tomorrow on the My Booking Rewards Facebook page as normal. Gareth, Aspen, thank you for joining us. It's so great to know you want to work with the trade, your trade friendly brands, and there were really good presentations. So everybody needs to remember just to sort of keep putting the bookings your way. Don't forget, every single Arabian booking, you can log on myarabianrewards.com. It's a global program, and every single month a prize draw winner will be pulled at random, and you will win a prize. So keep logging your bookings. Aspen, if you can email me with a list of all your hotels that you've got, just so I can make sure that they're all featured, or your key areas, I can put them all into the system for you. And Gareth, I'm pretty sure you're already in, but if you want to send me them again. And a massive thank you to all of the agents. I know from the chat and from the questions that it's really sparked a lot of interest, both the hotel, Gareth and Aspen, with a new destination. So thank you. Keep doing what you're doing, keep logging the bookings, and we'll see you soon at the next Arabian webinar. So massive thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Bye everyone.
Bye-bye.